Good Sunday morning to you if you're watching live, and if you're watching this as a video, thank you for being here. This is the Medium channel, and this is tarot time. So what we're going to do is do a meditation card for the week, 3-card spread that may be relevant to you personally or in your community or globally, and some other divination tools, and just a nice community hangout, some spiritual downloads, some channeling may come. You never know what to expect. So if you're watching this as a video, I just wait a couple minutes for the live people to get their notification to come on, and then have at it. So I'm going to just say a few quick hellos. And welcome. It's Lunar New Year, right? Today is Chinese New Year. So it is the water rabbit that's said to be very fortuitous. So we could use some good luck and some good fortune. Yes. So hello, Colleen and Pug Life. Welcome. And Rose, thank you. And hi, Lisa Marie and Yvonne Young and Suzette. And that's all that's in right now. So maybe I'm not the only one getting off to a slow start on a Sunday morning. So, firstly, what's going on? What's the news here? Firstly, oh hi Jody and hi everybody. Well, we did some very high vibrational channeling with the master teachers last night, and you can do that anytime and you still tap into the energy. It's a new moon activation and a portal activation. So that's up on the Medium channel, that you can go back to that anytime. Um, and Interestingly, Spirit this morning, it's been an interesting morning, and I'll talk a little bit about that as people are coming on and coming onto the live stream. But one of the messages that came in, because I was doing my ohms to try to just clear my energy, and Spirit was just saying to tell everybody to do long, deep ohms, and and part of the reason, I mean, it's a good spiritual exercise anyway, but it sends these high frequency sound vibrations through your body, and part of the programming, the social conditioning and sound. I see we're still having some internet issues today. Sorry about that if I'm glitching out. But in any event, where was I? Maybe the forces that be didn't like me to say that. Interesting that happened at that moment. But yeah, through the Wi-Fi signal, through the cell signals, through a lot of things that are going on, there are sound currents, and they've done a lot of studies, like with music. Think of the Salvaggio frequencies, that certain frequencies can uplift our spirit, but other frequencies can program us negatively. So they're saying if you do a lot of long, deep oming, that'll clear like any of the negative kind of sound frequency, subconscious programming, because there is a kind of a spiritual warfare that's going on. That there's certain powers that most of us are aware of that are interacting on the planet, that don't want humanity to awaken. They'd rather humanity be subservient or be slaves, so that the select few can continue to have everything, while the majority of people really don't have what they could. So then, so that's one of the things. We're in this Aquarius energy. It's very powerful. The new moon was really, really powerful, and it's a big shift. And even when I was doing my 2022 forecast, and when I was channeling them, they were saying right as the sun goes into Aquarius, we're going to hit this huge um, photon belt in our celestial orbit, as it were. And it's going to be like a big spike in awakening, and it's going to cause us some mayhem on the physical. But if we stay in our heart and stay in our power and stay in our light and our truth, then we stay in the eye of the storm. And from the eye of the storm, that's how we can affect the movement of the storm, and the motion and trajectory of what's going on. So basically, what that means is, to the best of your ability, don't get triggered by what's going on out there. Observe your emotions rather than being triggered by your emotions, and observe your thoughts, observe your breath. It starts with presence. Everything starts with presence. So hi Carissa, hi Karen S, and Carissa D and Colleen and Freebird, welcome, and Michael Marr and Suzette and Metaphysical Mike, welcome. I am good. I hope you are well also. And Michelle Keithley and Jody, thank you, everybody. And hi, Linda. Good morning. Good morning. So Sunday morning, are we coffee, tea, or caffeine free? I went right for the tea. So we did the channeling last night. It was very powerful. Many of you were on that, and I got some emails afterwards or some texts about people's experiences. So I know it was very powerful. Then last night, I couldn't really sleep. I was still like buzzing from the transmission because, for those of you that don't know, the channeling that we do here, it's energetic channeling, it's frequency channeling, and this group that I call the master teachers, that are basically beings of energy and beings of light, part of collective consciousness, as it were. You'll activate my fields, and as I'm leading the process, it's activating everybody. So I kind of get the first hit, so to speak, or I'm kind of, what's the right word, like the transfer station for this energy. So basically, long and the short of it is, I feel it, and I was really feeling it last night, and my sleep was kind of like I didn't really sleep. I was kind of like most of the night just hovering over my body. It was weird. I didn't dream. Well, maybe I slipped into deep sleep here and there and dreamt, and I don't remember. But for the most part, that's what was going on. And then this morning, my mom was hanging out from the spirit world. So my mom and I were just hanging out as I was waking up, and she's aware that I'm doing a new layer of shadow work now that's involving mother wounding. So she's been coming around me more. And by the way, I haven't told any of you guys like my whole story, my whole healing journey, just bits, snippets of it. But a lot of you know that I once had very severe chronic eczema, to the point that I needed daily steroid treatment for almost 60 years of my life. And I healed that through mind over matter, through shadow work integration, through doing affirmation, to making the reality of having perfectly clear skin and being perfectly healthy more real in my mind every single day than the physical torture and the lack of sleep and all the medicines, and my paper thin skin and my liver enzymes were going crazy. I made them more real, and then within 3 years, I healed it. I haven't needed steroids for over 5 years, but I still have chronic asthma, and the spirit's saying that that's linked in with these deeper these deeper mother woundings. So that's my next phase. So anyway, I give you guys a heads up. If anybody else wants to join me and do some deeper shadow integration work, because we want to integrate the shadow. We don't want to lose anything. We actually want to reintegrate all our different soul parts and all our different things that we've lost through traumas or whatever. So anyway, I figured somebody would appreciate the story, this little snippet of my night. So in a way, that's my disclaimer that if I'm really like ungrounded and all over the place today, forgive me. Certainly my Wi-Fi is. So, and anyhow, thank you for that. Yes. I'll flash a few comments. This is kind of our. What were you saying? What were you saying? Were you smile? I guess so, kind of. Yeah. Oh, hi, Yvonne. Oh, you're talking about that. Earl Grey with milk. Okay, I don't have any milk. I have what's this called? I think it's called Brad's tea or something. Need the shadow work. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I it's been over a year since I've actually done a video on shadow work integration. I'm overdue to do a new one here, so maybe I'll work on that. So anyway, are we ready for some tarot, everybody? Now that we're been 9 minutes in. Let's do it. So first thing I want to do is do a meditation card for the group, and for the benefit of the new people, the way I meditate with tarot cards is, well, like any other meditation, you get very present in the moment, in the now, open heart, and have a smile attack from the heart, and feel that in your entire body. But the main thing is to get very present, and then you kind of step into the portal of the tarot card. I'm going to pull the card in just a minute that Spirit thinks is the best for our group for this week. And by doing so, you enter into a new frequency, new reality, so to speak. So when you step through the card, you step into that whole panoramic view. Now the card only has like the doorway, but you can't see the whole view. So when you step in, gauge what you feel. That's the first order business. We can sense energy through our feelings. Our emotions are energy in motion, but the problem is the programming that starts as soon as we come out of the womb, and even before for that matter. It's designed to hijack the emotions. So we get triggered by our environment, and it's a program. So and then emotions are very powerful. When you're in emotions, what are emotions? They're hormones in the body, very, very powerful. So when you're in that, your behavior is basically dictated by your emotions. So what we need to start to do instead is to be the observers of when we're triggered, observe our emotions, just like from the outside looking in, and then breathe with it and be with it. We're not trying to stop ourselves from feeling. We're not trying to stop our emotions. You'll have better luck stopping a speeding freight train, honestly, than that. So we're not trying to do that, but rather step back and observe the emotion, because then you're observing the programming. And uh, for those of you that know Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, you're probably thinking about him right now, because he talks about this stuff all the time. And I forgot his phraseology, but he has some clever phrases about that. But the long and the short of it is that you become the observer of the program, and then you're not the program in that moment. You're simply observing it in action. And once you can observe it and you start to understand for what it is, that's when you can start to clear it. Again, shadow work integration starts with presence, and then cultivating the frequencies of the heart, because the heart cannot be programmed. It only knows love, compassion, gratitude, joy. The subconscious mind gets programmed. The heart cannot be programmed. And the heart is more powerful than the brain. Science is proving that electromagnetically. So when you open the portals of the heart, then the heart and the brain join. That's also scientifically validated. And when that happens, and the heart and mind integrate, that's called heart brain coherence. A lot of you have heard me say that every single live stream. Maybe you've heard me say that. There's a good reason. It's basically saving my life and my sanity, and allowing me to really get out of all the negative cycles I've been in my whole life, the financial cycles, all that kind of stuff that was all part of my programming. So anyhow, that's what I have to say about that. God bless you. Thank you. I have, post these. I know. What am we saying here? Yeah. And wash hands. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yes. Interesting thing. Washing hands. That's leading me to just to talk about, part of my morning routine is doing the cold shower. And in January, the cold shower here in the Catskill Mountains is basically snow melt. So this is the time of year where it really does the most good or the most bad, depending on your perspective. But you wash those frequencies away. And the interesting thing about this is it's a Kundalini yoga tradition, 3-minute cold shower. Some of you do Kundalini yoga. I've heard of that. Then I worked with a shaman from Machu Picchu for a time, and he recommended cold showers. And I got into Wim Hof, and he does the cold plunges, the ice plunge, and I haven't done that yet. The closest I get is getting out into the Esopus Creek in the early spring, when it's warm enough outside, and then the water temperature is still like around 40 or so. That's the closest I've come to doing a true cold plunge. But anyway, the shaman was saying this is how if you get any spirit attachments during the night, washing that cold water will clear those attachments. So anyhow, I figured I'd share that, and thank you for Janet for talking about wash hands and washing hands. Yeah, all this washing helps to clear things. Absolutely. So what's the song of the day, Carissa? uh, yeah, I'll flash this one too. start from the heart space is everything. Yeah, there's got to be a good song about that somewhere. I don't know. I can't think of one right now. I mean, certainly Beatles songs were always about love. Well, that's until around 1966, and then they expanded their mind when they met Bob Dylan. Apparently, uh, more love in your heart. Okay, put a little love in your heart. I'm thinking something from Stevie Wonder, but something different than the last time. Because I think of his album "Songs in the Key of Life," and I don't know what song on that album is about the heart chakra, honestly. But anyway, let's do a meditation card. Uh, See, now in my mind, I'm hearing an old Moody Blues song called "Are You Sitting Comfortably," which I think is a Justin Hayward, but it's a duet with Justin Hayward and John Lodge. Uh, Are you sitting comfortably? Let Merlin cast his spell. Beautiful song. All right. Clearing mind, looking for a meditation card. By the way, laughter is the best medicine. And when you open your heart, you laugh a lot more too, by the way. Whoa. My favorite card came out. Yes, yes, yes. And we're in Aquarius season, right? Hello. The star card is ruled by the sign Aquarius in tarot. And Uranus, the Aquarius' ruling planet, is stationed today. So it's going direct today. So it's very strong Aquarian energy, and the star card brings hope and inspiration. So usually, for those that we've been doing tarot time for almost 2 years now. Wow, we've been doing this a long time, and we have a propensity to get the major arcana cards and the court cards, and not all the time, but usually. So the star card is inspiration and hope. It's my favorite card. It's spiritual love. And so the idea, okay, I'm just checking because believe it or not, some of the tarot channels got videos taken down because of nudity, because of like the star card or the lover card. But in this deck, her breasts are covered by her hair, so we're good. I'm not going to get taken down for nudity or porn or anything by showing a tarot card. Last time I did the Dolly deck, I had to cover their privates. It was really embarrassing. But anyhow. So the idea again, so a lot of inspiration and hope. So I feel like part of the message of this is a lot of us are sort of coming out of kind of a funk in a way. That Capricorn season, although it's very successful energy, it's Saturn ruled. It's leaden because lead's the metal of the planet Saturn. So it's got that kind of heavy feeling, and then of course. Aquarius, it's Uranus, it's sudden change, it's evolution, revolution, community minded, higher mind, and all that stuff. But Aquarian energy can be heavy also in a different way. But it's really a lot of this is about awakening. So again, step through the card, just like what I teach some of my clients when they want to buy a house, like just a little trick or technique that before you step into the house you're going to buy, forget about what it looks like, forget the price, forget the neighborhood, forget all that stuff. Clear your mind of everything, gauge how you feel, then step in that house and see how you feel changes. If it's uplifting, it's probably a good thing to pursue. If you feel worse when you step in the house, to say thank you, this house isn't for me, let's look at the next house, basically. So that's the gift when we cultivate emotion, when we eliminate the programming. Then our emotions can be a tool that spirit can use to give us information. Our feelings is an amazing gauge of energy, but again, the problem is we've been programmed and programmed in a way that our emotions get hijacked, and they basically get controlled by the environment. And when you're in that kind of of a state, then you can't know, like you can't be clear enough to be able to gauge your emotion. Hopefully that made sense. I need more tea. Anyway, so that's our meditation card. This is a beautiful one, and you can use your deck if you have your own card, or this is the Hanson Roberts deck. You can use this one, and just take a mental snapshot of. No, I shouldn't talk and drink tea at the same time, especially around electronics. Very dangerous activities. So anyway, so let's do a 3 card spread and just see what Spirit's saying about what's going on this week. Just saw an interesting article, Elon Musk, about having serious reaction to a second booster, and there's just a lot of things that are coming out. Just you stick around, because a lot of us have been questioning the whole protocols from the beginning, and I talk a lot about this. I mean, I'm a little bit careful because of the almighty algorithm about what I say, my views on this whole thing from 2020 on um, are not fueled by like conspiracy theories. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I mean, I'm not. I'll put it this way. I mean, I think people should really research long and hard before getting any vaccines. Much less this more recent one. But I don't come from that place of that, or that place of whatever. I just come from a place of spirit, basically, or at least that's my ideal. I mean, I'm not perfect, obviously, but and yeah, and I yeah, and I trust what I feel. I trust what my heart feels. I trust what Spirit's saying, and since probably these topics are going to come up again, because some of the cover-ups are getting more and more exposed and more known. That's not just with the pandemic, but with politics, with the former president, with the current president, with foreign policies, with what's going on, with wars and stuff like that, and how things like how outside influences may have kind of spurred the one war that gets all the attention, where all the other wars we kind of forget about. But you know we have to be in our heart and be in our power. Then the media can't program us either, and other people can't program us either when we're in that state. So we have to understand that you control the thinking of a society, you control that society, and the media is one of the main proponents for controlling the thinking of our society. So people talk about the media, they're full of lies or whatever. I mean, that's not exactly accurate, because a lot of what they're saying is true. To me, I look at the omission of things. That's where the deception comes in, more than what they're saying. To me, it's more than what they're not saying, and what we know locally through our own communities, what's going on, and through people that we reach out to, and we understand through that what goes on in the real world is not what's being reported, but by the news. Not specifically anyway, not completely anyway. So again, these are things to keep in mind. So I want to just peek at your comments for a second. One of them. Okay, I'm not. I'm missing part of your conversation, so sorry about that. Oh, that song that's called What's that called? It's from On a Thresh, or is it? It may be from In Search of the Lost Chord, actually, from the Moody Blues. Uh, Are You Sitting Comfortably? Or I think that's from On the Threshold of a Dream. It's from one of those 2 albums, anyways. Stevie is great. Yes, Stevie is great. All right, all right. Living in the City is a great song. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. We're talking about music now. So back to tarot. Tarot and music goes together. I mean, one time, when I started to open the spirit, I just asked my guide, why is music so important? Like every single society, has a strong linking to music, right? Like Native Americans with the drumming and chanting. I mean, you go back to Vedic, kirtans and chanting, and Yeah, and they kind of came to and said, "What, you don't know?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know. That's why I'm asking." And they said, "Well, because music comes at the very high levels of the demonic plane or the angelic level." They were saying, and music is rhythm, timing, it's sound vibration, it's frequency. It links us with the universe because the universe works in rhythm, works in timing, works in sound vibration, works in frequency. So that's it. Oh, good suggestion. Yeah, yes, yes. Thank you, Glenn. Our musician slash medium friend is on here, so thank you for that. Um, I love Rush. It's like people wonder about my musical taste because it's like, well, I love the Grateful Dead, I love Rush, I love Talking Heads, and I love Mozart, and I love James Brown, and it's like I love music basically. And again, music is also. I've talked about the media as a tool for control. Think back what I was saying in the beginning about sound frequency, sound vibration, Salvaggio frequencies. When I was in first grade, I had perfect pitch, and I learned a lot about music. I was in the 99th percentile of musical abilities, and so people are probably listening to me say, "So why are you a famous musician now?" Well, there's another story, with that also, but the point being is that I learned about this stuff like by the time I was in third grade, like the Salvaggio and the frequencies. I mean, the masters knew about that. The classical masters knew about that, and certain frequencies affect our vibration in certain ways. Some are uplifting and some bring us closer to spirit, but there's other frequencies that attack our vibrations and frequencies, and unfortunately, a lot of that got included or in modern music, and it made people very terribly violent and terribly dissatisfied, and it's still doing that. So very good. Music is life. Yes, yes, yes. Very good, very good. Thank you for all of your beautiful and amazing comments, everybody. So appreciated. Uh, here's an interesting question. Yes, I can, and I can do that without LSD also. I just had to throw that in, partly because this is leading to a plug for next Sunday. Next Sunday, okay. Next Sunday, tarot time at 11. Yoga time with Children's School of Yoga is at 5 o'clock. And then at 7, I've got I don't even know his name, but I have psychedelic actualization coming on. That's a YouTube channel, and we're going to talk about the role of psychedelics in spirituality. So that'll be fascinating. I can't imagine that 4-4. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course I know the was it 432 and 5. Wait 432 and 528, right? Did I get that right? uh Yeah, I did. And these master like Salvaggio frequencies, if you do the numerology, they're all in that 369 Tesla code. By the way, like 532 is I'm getting 432 is a 9. I'm sorry, 528 is a 6. So all of these fit. They fit in with that. 440 is an 8. So I don't know about that one, but uh But so to answer your question, yeah, yeah. So what band really brought those colors was Genesis, especially up until Wind and Wuthering for me was the last great Genesis album, and really to me the only great Genesis album that didn't include Peter Gabriel. And God, one night, I mean, it was back in the 70s. I had a little bit of weed or whatever, and I was listening to this song called "The Lamia" on side 3 of "The Lamb Lies Down" on Broadway. I think it's the last song on side 3, and it's just such a beautiful song. And oh my God, it's like this whole journey of shedding skin. It's a really beautiful song. It's called "The Lamia." And I was listening to it. I was seeing colors and shapes and all kinds of geometric shapes in my mind. So yeah. By the way, John Lennon was a known what's the word, for cross sensing, synesthesia, right? For cross sensing. John Lennon was a well known one. Yeah, that's the ability to like see music or hear smells, like cross sensing. You know, again, without LSD or mushrooms. uh, so Glenn knows that song. Yeah, yeah. I mean, from that album, everybody knows the Carpet Crawlers, and apparently that was a filler, from what I understand, and that became everybody's favorite song. But um, that was a great album. Yeah, it's crazy album. If you follow the lyrics, you know, it's starts out with the song the lamb lies down on Broadway with the what's the lyrics? Rail Imperial aerosol kid. Twice he's gone, he's forgotten what he did. And I mean, I think that's talking about a kid that was like a graffiti artist, like an aerosol kid that did LSD in New York City. Basically, is what I think that album's about. Anyhow, of course, when it comes to Peter Gabriel, there's always multi layers of meanings in his music, which is why he's one of the great masters. All right. So we're talking about music, not tarot, but I'm still mixing cards up. So believe it or not, I am getting to this part of it. All right. All right. So I have to clear my mind and ask Spirit to step back in, take the right card. You know, it's interesting because I'm doing that. They're just showing me this figure of a of somebody with their arm wide open. Yeah. So you know what? Some of you, I don't know. I think that there's two different messages that go to two different people with that. I think some of you really have to be comfortable with receiving love. I mean, it's great to be a giver, but it has to be in balance. And sometimes people that are always giving, and looking for validation, for giving to other people, it's because they inside their programming makes them feel unworthy of receiving. So they overcompensate the giving. So we have to learn to receive also. That's part of our spiritual growth. That was one meaning. What was the other one? I can't remember the other one. All right. So anyways, I'll tell you what cards we got in a minute as soon as I get them on EO clipboard. All right. So this is the cards, the 3 cards, but this could be for you personally. So there may be some personal messages. There may be messages just connected really to this community or what's going on in the world around us. To me, this has more of a local feeling. I think, with this, with what's going on in the world, I've been saying for a while, as has so many other people, that the truths are coming out, that things that have been suppressed by the media, by the governments and corporations are coming out, and for some reason they're just bringing China up. Maybe we're going to hear more noise from China or whatever. But, my feeling is, or my thinking is that until the Western world, as long as the Western world keeps free trade with China, they just have nothing to say about them being evil or denouncing their communist rule or whatever. Because the fact is that the reason that well, there's many layers of reasons and many of them that I don't know, honestly. But one thing is apparent is that you can get things cheaper in China. Why can you get things cheaper in China? Because they exploit their labor, and there are big exposés in the 70s and 80s about that. And, it's like, enemy to the world, number one, but the Western world will continue to trade and support them and everything. And I know it's not that simple to just stop trading because it changes the whole flow of goods and services around the globe. I get that, but we've had 70 years to figure that out, to be quite honest. It's just one thing, and we're so programmed and conditioned that it's like we don't even stop to think of the obvious. Like, this is a blatant contradiction. So now it's like all these economic, leaders, Klaus Schwab, blah blah blah, all about the free world or whatever. But by 2030, you'll own nothing. You'll be happy, basically. Um, so basically, what that's saying is that we're going to centralize the economy, and you won't own anything, but you'll be happy. You'll be provided for, and to me that is communism, right? I mean, if you look at the definition, it's like the state really owns and controls everything. I mean, whether you think it's a bad thing or a good thing or whatever, I'm not here to make any value judgments or anything like that. Just to say what's coming through and to put that out there. But it's fine to question things, but again, stay in the eye of the storm. Try not to get triggered. When you do get triggered, and I do, it's, so I get it, but the trick is that's your ability to step out of those emotions. It's not that easy. Observe them, observe yourself getting triggered. And one of my biggest issues is frustration. I get frustrated very easily. I'm getting better and better over time. And I'm getting to the point where I can just step out and watch myself acting like a raving lunatic instead of being a raving lunatic when things haven't gone my way. So anyway, so what else is this saying? I need to kind of take in the energy. The last card here, the Two of Swords is getting my attention. On one hand, she's got her arms crossed over her heart. So again, reminder, open our hearts. A lot of people are subconsciously afraid to open their hearts because they felt so much pain in their lives. They've opened their hearts only to get it shoved down their throat, basically. I get it, but still, we still have to open our hearts, regardless of what other people have done to us. And as we open our heart, we connect more with spirit. So that's the thing, that a lot of us have had a lot of pain, a lot of heartache or whatever. But once we truly open our heart and truly tap into the frequency of the heart, it's a whole different vibration, a whole different frequency. You kind of like transcend that pain, and you become more immune to it, basically. So the idea, when we open our heart, then we can allow stuck energy from past traumas to start to move. And again, everybody wants to do that, but people are subconsciously afraid because, again, when we open our heart, when we become present, we start to dissolve the filters between conscious and subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind has become, through programming and conditioning, the storehouse of our unwanted memories. So when we have traumas, we've been conditioned and programmed to suppress it rather than process it. And then when it's suppressed, we can't process it. And then it vibrates deep within us. What we hold this vibration, we create in our lives and our reality. For those of you that have been doing law of attraction work till you're blue in the face and affirmations and wondering why the hell this isn't working, well, you haven't cleared that programming that's preventing it from working. And I had to realize that this as I'm working on creating a different money flow in my life, because I've always had financial problems, not anymore, but I'm solving them now. And I realized that there's a fear, like when I really got into that vibration of feeling like I'm wealthy, I have it all, I noticed fear reaction. And then I had to look into what program is causing that and do the shadow work to move through that. So, a lot of people, and I get so much, negativity. I mean, people, you look at me and say, wow, Adam, you've got it made. You're doing what you love. You're doing spiritual teaching. You're making money doing that. I got to tell you, this ain't an easy way to make money, because every day in my life, I'm battling egos. I'm battling that collective ego. And, a very common thing is, well, you don't know what it's like to, to be on the street. And actually, I have experienced homelessness, which I find, amusing, people's judgments or whatever. But it's their programming, basically. Point being is that, what is the point being? I need more tea to get that point back. Maybe I'd have better luck with water. Point being is that as long as we carry those negative programs, if we suppress traumas, if we suppress things, it's vibrating within us. It's very hard to change your programming when you're not aware of things that are suppressed. And when that's the energy, that's the frequency that's creating a reality for you. So, when people are just saying this is all bullshit or whatever, law of attraction doesn't work because they haven't been able to make it work, it's because they haven't cleared the program. Remember, we're over 95% subconscious. You can do affirmations till you're blue in the face, but if you haven't cleared the programming, replaced it with programming that supports success, it's going to be, I wouldn't say it's impossible to be successful. It's just going to be a lot harder. So anyway, what else is trying to say? This is family card, and it's upside down, it's reversed, and then there's the Page of Swords. I feel like there's a few of you that are really gearing up to stand up to one of your family members. It's just been a thorn in your side, and more so, maybe your mother. Because I'm seeing a kind of a sort of almost like a difficult mother figure with that. If some of you may be a spouse or a partner or whatever, but communication, swords is air, swords is communication, pages are the element earth also in tarot. So we have to speak up, but again, communication is about listening. The lion's share is about listening, and so forth. So let me see what else. A lot of ideas are coming in this Aquarian season. A lot of us are getting new ideas, maybe business ideas, new spiritual downloads. This is a really good week to, again, work. Any week's a good week to work with the heart, but really try to open that up and expand that. We have videos on heart brain coherence, and stuff like that. So Suzette may be able to relate to that. Okay, I'm missing your conversations, but that's okay. I have to be focused on here. And we need a sense of peace. Maybe we need to just kind of get away, sort of check out a little bit as well. All right, so let me just clear my mind. What else? I'll keep this here. What else with that? So, I feel like, they're saying, as far as like friends and family and stuff like that, don't feel roped into doing things that you don't want to do. We want to be, amenable or amicable. Is that the word? Amenable to others and our family and our community, but not to the point where we're sacrificing our own goods. So I feel like, it's kind of talking about some restructuring of friendships and families and how, it's very active that even last week into this week that some of you may just be, pulling away from family members or whatever. I feel like there's a lot of posturing going on also. So I think we're going to see things in the news that are kind of a little bit distressing, but nothing that's actually that distinct, but rather kind of, what's the right word, foreboding in a way, and kind of, in a sense, gearing up for like some new developments, like new protocols. I always felt like around February, and this is in my 2022 forecast, that there's going to be more disregard for law. There's going to be probably more, protests or uprisings, and I think there's going to be some semblance of some kind of, I don't want to say mandates, but definitely, something, that's restrictive of freedom that may somehow connect with the new spike of COVID cases and stuff like that. And I'm also get kind of, it's interesting because I'm seeing the jab as I'm looking at this card also. That's the middle card, and I think more news about that. Interesting news has come out about it. Things that I was very hesitant to say even 4 months ago, because I would get I get a strike for medical misinformation. That's true. Some of the things that we were saying back then are proving to be valid, and I can't really think of the details off my head, but this would include the efficacy of the vaccines, as well as the degree of potential dangerous side effects. And so I think more knowledge and the fact that there was more foreknowledge and the public was led to believe is coming out, and we're seeing that already. And to be balanced in my statements, we also have to understand that every medicine carries risks, right? Vaccines or anything that you take carries some potential risk. The thing is, but let the public know what those risks are. Don't try to sugarcoat it, basically. Don't try to hide the fact. Let us all know what the risks are. Let us make our own minds up. And, it's, a pandemic's a terrible thing, but we're talking about the pandemic, obviously highly contagious and not a good thing, but we're talking about a hospitalization and a mortality rate very similar to the H1N1 flu, whatever year that was. I forgot what year that was. But about 1% of people unfortunately died from that epidemic. Maybe it was a pandemic. But did people need flu shot vaccines to travel? Were there massive lockdowns where everybody told to mask up and all that? No. So, things to keep in mind. Again, I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying let's look at the facts and let's be critical thinkers, and let's think with our hearts, not just with our programmed minds about that. So I think more of that's coming out, I want to say. And I think that's a lot with that. And I feel like they're saying, we just have to really be, in our own power with things and in our own minds. Yeah, so it's an interesting comment here. And there's that, yeah. Besides that, Glenn, there were also financial benefits for people getting the vaccines. Also, they really wanted a certain percentage of people to be vaccinated, and whatever. And again, I'm not here to say yes or no to that. Do what you feel is right for you, but the question should always be: do the potential risks outweigh the potential benefits, or vice versa? And make your decisions that way, responsibly. Taking others into account, obviously. And if you do that, fine. I mean, I personally, I chose not to do the vaccine, but I'm also pretty careful of not potentially exposing other people. So, in case I get it, the last thing I want is for somebody with a compromised immune system to get sick because of me. So, I'm very careful about stuff like that, and the way that I see people and all that. I do it in a controlled way, just, because we don't know. I mean, not so much now because, for various reasons. Anyway, that I think I've said enough on that topic. So moving right along, free donuts, yeah. I'm now an anti-vaxxer. The energy is very dark. Like I said, I'm not an anti-vaxxer per se, but that said, I'll put it this way: I'm anti-lies. I'm anti-control. I'm anti like trying to push people to do things without giving them all the facts. It's like any vaccine. Let us know what's in the vaccines. Let us know the potential risks. Don't try to cover everything up, because people have been harmed by these medications. People have been helped by these medications. It's gone both ways, but to me anyway, this is just my own personal views. You can disagree with me. I'm fine with that. And any what's the right word? Any conflicting viewpoints are welcome, as long as they're done with love and not done negatively. So anyhow, that's basically what I'm getting with that. Some more meditation, more working with the heart, more going within. And what else? Yeah, and I'm seeing something. The word schools came up. So when we get into, it may not happen this week, but we may start to, behind the scenes, get some new kind of rulings on schools and education, the protocols with the kids, that kind of stuff, or whatever. Especially if half of them are getting sick with RSV or the flu or COVID or whatever. But I think this is also about truth. Swords are about truth. I think we're going to hear some things rising to the surface. I'm seeing money. I'm seeing coins. again, I talk about keeping, stable investments, keeping cash, God forbid. Sometimes the swords in this layout can be about electricity and about stuff like that. We're coming into 3 months of no retrograde planets now, starting today with Uranus station direct. So, there's ideas, there's thoughts, manifest those thoughts and ideas. Some of you have some money or business ideas. When it comes to money, we're in Aquarius season. We must think outside the box because money has different meaning, it has different value. In fact, the more that money becomes an exchange for value, the more money that you're going to have. Not to, not to say that time is money is totally invalid, or services or products is an exchange for money also. But if whether you're employed, whether you have a business, whether you're the boss, the more value you add to your work, the more open you're going to be to money. That's kind of the relationship now. And money is energy, money is frequency, money's vibration. It's the physical counterpart to the spiritual principle of abundance, or the abundance frequency. So it's a positive thing. The more abundance, the more freedom. The more abundance we have, the more linked we are with the universe, because everything that exists in abundance. From, well, I don't have as much abundance of hair on my head, honestly, but I still have abundance of hair and abundance of cells. 15 trillion last I counted, although I lost count somewhere between 1 and 2 billion. Um, abundance of air, abundance of water, abundance of trees, abundance of birds. Everything that exists in abundance, including money. There's trillions of dollars out there waiting to flow in your direction, and waiting to flow out of the direction of those that want to hoard and want to keep the money from us. Money is energy, money is spirit. We are in an impoverished society. Half of the people in this world are hungry, or face that prospect sometime in their lives. I think more than half. Yet there's enough food, there's enough money, there's enough resources to feed this world 10 times over. But that's the effect of the spiritual impoverishment of the society. So as we open up more spiritually, then we become more magnetic to money. God wants us to be rich. This beautiful world and all these potential experiences were not created for us to be limited by money to not experience these things. So, I think I'm talking about this for a reason. I think some of you are maybe coming to some kind of a head or conclusion when it comes to your own sense of worth and value, when it comes to having more money in your life and having more abundance and more riches. So let's do a Native American card. This is becoming a really long session today. And I have other divination tools for the newcomers to bring out. I just want to flash this because that sounded good. Thank you. I like to include you guys where I can. This and alcohol. All right. Yeah, if anybody that's going through cancer, and that's kind of become the new common cold, unfortunately. All right. Anyhow, let me pull a card here. Let me create a little room or space. Here we go. No. Which card? Clearing mind. This card. The Hermit. Okay. Again, it looks like my screen's glitching again, so I apologize for any Wi-Fi issues. The Hermit. That's key 9 of tarot. Yeah, and this is about going within and receiving guidance from spirit or guidance from above. So, in a way, this kind of supports this Two of Swords energy. Again, I started to talk about this, like she's got the figure, she's got her arms crossed in front of her heart, but she's in a very peaceful place, but she's blindfolded. So in a way, this can be a good energy of going within, going inside, and finding internal peace, or finding peace through finding internal peace. But the flip side is that we can find peace through avoidance by blocking our heart, blocking our ability to feel, blocking our ability to see. And that's not really peace. That's a false illusion of it. So, we have to be open. I think that's the message. Like we have to, in this phase of our awakening, people that are here in this community, in this phase of our awakening, it's really important that we learn how to open, not to be fearful of negative feelings or thoughts or stuff like that, or even negative people, or being vulnerable or whatever. Because when we open the heart, and again, because so many people have been hurt, we feel more vulnerable. But the truth is that we become more powerful, because again, we align with the brain and with spirit when we open the heart. So again, I think a lot of us that feel a little bit stuck right now and just feel these energies, know there's a big awakening, know there's a lot of changes, but don't feel like you're quite there yet, or something's blocking. Really work more with the heart, really work more on opening the heart center and connect with spirit. And, I think that that's a big underlying message, so that these next couple of weeks while we're in this Aquarian season, you can get the downloads from spirit. You can get the information that you need to move forward in your life, and what your life purpose is moving forward and stuff like that. So when we're in the hermit, we're kind of on our own, and by being by yourself, and I spend a lot of time by myself, and I have to say, but the more I spend time alone, the more I realize I'm not alone, and that's the irony of it. And the more I connect with spirit. So I think some of us need to maybe step back a little bit, and spend more time on your own, and meditate more, and stuff like that. Sometimes we seek divergence through other people, and sometimes, again, as I was explaining in the beginning, when we sit in our own energy and expand our own energy, the first thing that's happened is the subconscious mind activates, and those suppressed traumas start to come up, and we experience them sometimes as anxiety, depression, sometimes even physical pain. And most people stop at that point. So we have to accept discomfort as part of the process, and we have to breathe through it, and connect with spirit through the heart. And when we connect with our divine mother, we can endure pretty much anything, because we feel the love, and we feel the compassion, and we feel the connection with spirit. So moving right along, I have my medicine cards. Yeah, let's do the medicine card. I have a couple more goodies here. Let's do these quickly, because I understand we've been a long. This has been a long morning already. I guess I had a lot to say after all. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, these are called the Hanson Roberts deck, basically. They're very small and sweet, like me. Well, when I say small, we're just talking about the body. We're not talking about the spirit or the energy. All right, so Medicine Card by Jamie Sams and David Carson, the creators of this divination deck based on Native American teaching. Wow, we got the eagle. Now, let's see who's gonna bring up. Oh God, I can't even remember his name. Steve Miller, Fly Like an Eagle. Well, eagle is a very powerful totem. Yes, it's about the eagle is in the some of the native traditions. It's the one of the animals of the east of the medicine wheel, where we open the doors of illumination to spirit and spiritual knowledge. And I'll just read just a snippet of what they say in the book about eagle. So that's a beautiful animal to work with this week. And it just shows, shows a lot of awakening and spirit. That's the according to the book, the companion book, spirit. And eagle medicine is the power of great spirit, the connection to the divine. It is the ability to live in the realm of spirit and yet remain connected and balanced with the realm of earth. Eagle soars and is quick to observe expansiveness within the overall pattern of life. From the heights of the clouds, the eagle is close to the heavens where the great spirit dwells. So, basically, when we do this, when we start to open the frequencies of the heart and we start to find that place of peace within, and we work with this energy here of the hermit, of being alone and finding our divine wisdom from above and our guides, then we have our spiritual awakening and our spiritual opening. So let this be the week for those of you that have felt a little bit stuck. Spiritual growth is not an even trajectory. It's almost literally, well, not literally, but figuratively, a quantum leap. So when we have a spiritual awakening, we just go from one level to another. A quantum leap is the electronic, the electrons. There's a word for valence frequency. It's been a long time since I studied chemistry, but that's what a quantum leap is. It goes from one level of energy to another. It leaps. So when we have spiritual awakenings, it's not like a steady climb or anything like that, where it's like we plateau for a while, jump up, then we plateau for a while, then jump up to the next level, and that's basically what that is. So welcome, CH Entertainment. Thank you for that. All right, so we have also my sacred geometry card. I fell in love with these, and I love to work with them. So let's see what sacred geometry is the most valuable for our community for this week, is the question that we ask. Even the message out of my heart is slightly broken today. It feels okay. So this is partly for you then, probably. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh, I found my card already. Change. Let's see. Here's some David Bowie now. Changes. All right. So here's so let me see if we can avoid the reflection. We might actually be getting some winter here in upstate New York. For those of you that wonder if we're going to have a winter this year, yeah, next 2 or 3 weeks it's going to be, more typical winter weather. So that's what this looks like, and the message here is the frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality. Back to music again. Both inward and outward, dance, that's why I said back to music. Dance, everything's a rhythm, everything's a flow, right? That's why music is so amazing. All art form is, but music deals with sound vibration, and currents, and we're discovering, we can heal anything through sound vibration, basically. And when I channel the master teachers, they do sound vibration through me. A lot of you know that. So anyway, so again, both inward and outward. So so the frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of our reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. So embrace change. People fear change. It's programmed because death is change also, and that gets exploited through the programming. But every moment that passes changes you. It's unavoidable. Since I've been talking the last hour, I've probably shed 1,000 skin cells, and then my body's produced new cells during this time. So my body's changed, and my energy has changed in this last hour. We're always changing, so don't fear that. Okay, let me just hold this up for you guys for another second. There you go. We can turn it. We can do funny things. Okay, there you go. And that's that. So last but not least, of course, is our angel message for the week. All right, so I'm going to hide this for now. All right, so this one, patience. Okay. The Hermit card, that we got is very much about patience also. A lot of this is patience with yourself too. Don't, this is time not to really pull ourselves. So it says now's the time to learn, study, and gather information. Enjoy being a student because in the future you will synthesize your knowledge into action. So that's all part of that hermit energy, going within, working with the heart. Even though we're in a new moon and the energy starting to move, major players like Mercury still stationed, Mars is still stationed, Uranus is stationed, Venus is moving. So that's the only inner planet that's up to speed now. Mercury, I think, officially comes out of its station tomorrow, but it's still going to be in its shadow for another 2 weeks. So it's moving slowly. It's building up speed. Mars takes longer. So Mars, I think, officially comes out of its station the day after. That in astrology just means it moves to its next degree point. That's all that means. But it's basically things are starting to move. So things are likely to be kind of slow energetically this week. Give yourself time to rest and learn, gather information. A good week for meditation, going within, working with the heart, gathering new information. Of course, if you're looking for that, we have 2.5 years worth of videos on the Medium channel. So by all means, binge out. And on that note, I'm going to say, well, if anybody's interested in learning how to do channeling, energy channeling, and automatic writing, I'm going to be doing a 2-day course, February 7th and 8th on Zoom, only $99, 6-hour course. And we really do the inner work. It's not just all technique work. It's learning how to change our frequency to become channels. So that's what we're going to really be working on. Things that, honestly, I've done a lot of mediumship, a lot of psychic development. Something I'm teaching, I did not learn from any of these teachers. I learned from spirit, from experience, falling flat on my face sometimes and finding a better way of doing things. So that's coming up Tuesday, 7 p.m., only $15. I'm doing a 2-hour virtual mediumship gallery on Zoom. I'll pin information on the pin comments for that also on when this becomes a video, which is going to happen as soon as I end. So if you came on late, as soon as I end, you can go back to the beginning. And there's a couple of other things. Like I said, we have next Sunday yoga with Doreen of Children's School of Yoga at 5. The role of psychedelics in spirituality with Psychedelic Actualization Channel. I'm going to do an interview with him at I believe that's 7 p.m. here, and there's a few other goodies, but that's it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. I love you, and then if we get into later into next week, people that are in Spirit Mind Family, our Patreon group, that's where we do the inner work and go deeper into these topics. I'll pin information on that also. But Monday's our community hangout and our Q&A. So we do our live video. It's going to be Monday at 7 tomorrow. And then Wednesday at 7, we're going to do the inner channeling with the master teacher on Patreon. All right. I'm done. I promise. I love you. Thank you. Bye. Be well. Happy